Is Daniel Radcliffe Disney's new Moon Knight? That is the headline I'll be questioning and pondering on today's MBE Heroes. And this one's coming in from comicbookmovie.com, but in all honesty it's coming in from a wide array of different sources. The likes of Variety, I do believe, have been reporting it, and yet they're suggesting that the Harry Potter star, of course, Harry Potter himself, Daniel Radcliffe, could indeed be set to become Disney's new Moon Knight for the upcoming Disney Plus TV show. They have said this has actually been shared by Full Circle Cinema, and it's really gathered a paste on from that. And it's they're going to say that, like most online scoopers, they aren't bulletproof. They have got a tendency to be wrong on the odd occasion, but in the main they seem to get more right than they get wrong. And they are suggesting that he could indeed be the next Marc Spector. Now, what do I make of this? Well, first things first, we have to speak about the elephant in the room, really, which is Daniel's lack of stature. He's not the tallest man in the world, and look, I will prefix this little caveat I'm flinging in here by saying that I did speak about James McAvoy, God, maybe a month or so ago, and him coming out and talking about his trials and tribulations over his lack of stature and how that affected him in getting roles and perhaps being knocked back for a wide array of roles because he was only 5'7". So I was completely against that, completely against any form of discrimination in modern day society, in Hollywood, as this more sub-compartmentalised version of society. So I'm not for one moment suggesting that Daniel should not be given a fair chance of perhaps getting the role, a fair crack at the whip, if you like, because he's only 4.5, 5'5". But you have to speak about the elephant in the room, and the elephant in the room is that Marc Spector, aka Moon Knight, is supposed to be 6'2" and I think 230 pounds. So he's more like, I don't know, a Zachary Levi type height and build. And good old Daniel is, as I did say, only 5'4" or something, and he weighs about 130 pounds. He's about 100 pounds less than what this role would dictate in terms of raw physicality. So in terms of pure physical things, pure physicality, he is not fit for the role. Let's be honest, he isn't. But in terms of acting chops, I think the guy has proven that he is a fine actor. He's really blossomed since his Harry Potter days. He's done Broadway, he's been involved in numerous theatre shows which have been big successes. He has been involved in a wide array of different genres. That one with the horns, which it may actually be called Horn, which eludes me. Maybe Horn, I think it is. He was really cool in that. He was amazing as pretty much a corpse in Swiss Army Man. And he's been in a whole array of different movies which have been intriguing. So he's proven that he's certainly got the range to play this role. This guy is a very complicated figure, incidentally, Marc Spector. Borderline crazy. He has brain damage. There's issues in there. And he's just slightly psychopathic. And the more I hear about this character, incidentally, I'll go off on a little superfluous jaunt. And the more I hear about this character, the more excited I become about the possibilities which lay in store for this TV show and how he could maybe make his way into phase 4 or 5 of the MCU as a greater homogeneous whole. He's such a cool character. He's got so many cool things, super strength. His abilities are affected by the phases of the moon. But the fact that he has got that degree of ambiguity in him as well, that he's not an out-and-out goody two-shoes superhero, and he's not quite a villain either. He lies somewhere in between, almost like a less comedic version of perhaps Wade Wilson, Daredevil, who I love, and I really love that character because he is got a degree of ambiguous nature going on in there. He's not quite toeing the line of full superhero. He's got that degree of darkness, and a little bit of bedevilment in there as well. So really like this character. Really like the idea of introducing him in a Disney Plus TV show, then perhaps letting him sprout out like a phoenix arisen into perhaps the greater movie Cineverse universe. I've had a few drinks, guys, and I've not had much sleep, so lay off me. But yeah, Daniel Radcliffe, I suppose he deserves a fair crack at the whip, like much of the other actors that have been getting linked with this role. Do I feel that he deserves it? Well, that's not really for me to say, that's for Disney. But in terms of raw physicality, I don't feel like he's a best fit for the role. Do I feel like he could portray this darker, complicated character? Well, I suppose he could, yeah. He almost reminds me like Kylo Ren. And that's what he's like. He's like the Kylo Ren of the MCU. He's this really conflicted, fractured soul of a man, and he's got so much going on under the surface. Now, there is numerous other names that are up for this role, which I've read about. The most prominent one that springs to mind right away, we spoke about it a number of months back, is Keanu Reeves, who is a completely different ballgame entirely from Daniel Radcliffe. 6'1" guy, decently packed with muscle. Not got the best acting range though I do love him. He doesn't do complicated figures all that well. He's very much binary action, all out action hero if you'd like. He'd be interesting in terms of looks. He certainly looks like he could play the character. They do go on to say that there is numerous other actors up for this role. On Cinema Blend, a completely different article, Rodrigo Santoro looks okay. We have the likes of Michael Huisman, who of course played Dario in Game of Thrones. We have Logan Marshall Green, that Tom Hardy lookalike guy. Shia LaBeouf is very interesting. Again, not quite 6'2", not quite get the raw physicality, but they can do things with that. They can do camera angles. Certainly could help Daniel out, and they could help out Shia as well. But he certainly has proven that he can play this sort of a raw, complicated figure. They go on to say Oscar Isaac. Not for me, I'm sorry. I don't think Oscar would. I don't want to see him playing that. He's played a villain in the X-Men, obviously the Fox X-Men verse. If he's coming in and playing a role, I'd like to see him do something better than this. They go on to say numerous other actors. There's just so many been linked. So it seems like if there's even a modicum of truth in these array of different names floating around for this role, then certainly Disney are not narrowing the net any when it looks like for prospective actors anyway. They're not narrowing the search. They are looking for a wide array of different guys to come in and show what they can do. I mean, Oscar Isaac, Shia LaBeouf, completely different to Daniel Radcliffe. Keanu Reeves, completely different to them. So perhaps I'll keep an open mind, and we'll see what happens with who eventually wins the race. Certainly, although these publications don't 9 times out of 10 get everything correct, we did see it with Batman. They were on the pulse, if you like, with Robert Pattinson and obviously Nicholas Hoult. They predicted those were the 2 names up for the role, and of course Pattinson eventually got it. So I would say that there's a degree of truth in this, and I'm not averse to it. If they can do something with the physicality, be it camera angles or whatnot, give them big massive lifts like they gave Robert De Niro for The Irishman, then certainly I'm all on board for Daniel getting a chance to play a superhero figure. He's ripped, he's a muscular little guy, so there's no reason why he doesn't look the part in terms of build anyway. So yeah, very interesting. But look guys, I will move quietly, or swiftly I should say, onto a little amalgamated topic playing into Moon Knight, and this is coming from comicbookmovie.com, and it is that Marvel Studios will be filming the upcoming Disney Plus series at the iconic Pinewood Studios over here in the United Kingdom. Now, there's not much meat in the bones of this story, so it's going to be a very short and sweet little gibbering session, if you like, of me just waxing lyrically about why I am happy at this news. I just love to see Pinewood continuing to be used by big studios for a wide array of different projects, be it Star Wars all the way down to a TV show for Disney Plus. It's an utterly iconic location. It's been involved with so many incredible movies over the years, and I just love to see British cinema and the economy over here getting a nice little jab in the arm, a boost if you like. It's going to be very cool to see how they perhaps mix this up with on-set sequences in Egypt, which apparently is going to be happening. It will be filmed in Egypt. How they mix that up with maybe more interior shots in Pinewood. They did that in Star Wars for many, many years, so I suppose it's not that hard. But yeah, all in all, really intrigued for Moon Knight, really intrigued to see who finally gets the role, be it Daniel Radcliffe, Shia LaBeouf, Keanu Reeves, or anybody in between. And I'm delighted to see that British cinema is once again being gave a little crumb, a morsel, if you like, with the use of the great Pinewood Studios, which has of course been expanded as well very, very shortly. So it's very exciting times for British cinema. And on that note, I will move on to the next topic, which is all about Suicide Squad director David Ayer, revealing that James Gunn is not only rebooting the Suicide Squad, he is in fact reinventing the entire universe. This is coming in from Superhero Hype, and he has revealed on Twitter, the director, he's had a lot to say in recent months about Suicide Squad, be it criticism of his movie, and perhaps just the handling of this passing of a baton over to James Gunn. He was at once not too happy about it, he seemed quite embittered, but now he is best of buds with James, and he's come out and says it's not a sequel, it's a reinvention, and that James Gunn is going to absolutely knock it out of the park. I'm cheering every step of the way. And someone replied with, at least you're not directing the sequel. Which, yeah, I suppose that is a little bit harsh, but yeah, he's right. He's then went on to say, yes, that is correct, some characters and elements will be used, but James Gunn is reinventing the universe. Everybody recognises the immense potential of the franchise. And look, he's right. Joking aside, a little digs at him aside, I actually didn't mind Suicide Squad. Honestly, there was a meat and bones of a movie there. There was just elements of it which you could tell there was studio interference in terms of tonality and just running time, and it just felt like a movie which had been deconstructed down to its bare bones and flung together hastily, and it just felt rushed. It felt weird all over the place, but there was good elements in there. Will Smith's Deadshot for one. Also you had Harley Quinn played by Margot Robbie, and there was some cool little things going on under the surface, and certainly there was enough there to do just a mere soft reboot, introduce some more colourful characters into this version of Suicide Squad, and give us a very intriguing film with perhaps a completely different feel. With James Gunn coming in, you would presume it would be a little bit higher in comedic, perhaps dark comedic moments, and more out and out moments feeding into music and soundtrack. So yeah, I agree with him. There's enough in there. There's immense potential, if you like, for this franchise. Just as I spoke about previously with Moon Knight, I like the ambiguity, and that involves characters like this nefarious scoundrels, if you like, coming in and having to work as a harmonious whole to do something which is in their best interest. In this case, not getting their heads blown up for obviously mutinying, I can't say that word, for obviously not running away, essentially. So yeah, it's a very interesting ragtag group, and the best of times, and certainly the array of characters that he is bringing in, I'm absolutely blown away. Some of them I didn't realise were in there. The likes of Peter Capaldi, wow, he's one of our own. I love the guy since the thick of it, just an amazing actor, can do a whole array of different things. Be really intrigued to see who he's playing. The great Michael Rooker is in there as well. Been following this guy for so long. I'm interested to see where he goes with it. John Cena is in there. So there's enough in terms of acting to give us more colourful characters, go off somewhere else with the story. And I'm really excited to see where this franchise goes, if indeed it is a franchise, and whether James Gunn, now that he has get back in the bed with Marvel, whether he can take this off to somewhere very exciting and maybe hand the baton over to another director somewhere down the road. But look guys, what do I make of this whole reinvention thing? Do I feel like this is maybe a little bit hyperbolic? Do I feel like this sequel deserves to be a complete reinvention? Well, no I don't, because as I said previously, not later than a minute ago, I think a soft reboot would be all that's required. And if we're having Harley Quinn in there, then it doesn't have to be a complete reinvention in terms of the actual meat and bones of the story and the characters and what David Ayer did in that first movie. I think where perhaps he can completely reinvent it is just by putting his own stamp on it. He's a very unique director with a very unique brain. As we've seen, I don't think anybody else could bring the Guardians of the Galaxy to life on the screen in the manner in which James Gunn did it. So I think like perhaps where David Ayer's getting at with the reinvention, I think where he's coming from is perhaps in terms of tonality, where he's taking the story in terms of characters, in terms of tone, in terms of humour, more utilisation of music and whatnot. At least I hope so. And once again, as I says before with the Moon Knight thing, really excited to see this perhaps being done differently, and how DC's handling this transitionary period where they're going more standalone, forgetting about having to tie everything in. What we get perhaps a side or numerous different threads of side characters having their own standalone franchises, and they may pop in every now and again where required. Have their own Superman stories, own Superman movies, have their own Batman stories. Well, we know we're getting that anyway. Matt Reeves has given us a series of movies, if not a trilogy. But I'll be very intrigued to see how DC handle it. Hopefully they don't meddle with James Gunn. I wouldn't imagine they would. He's a bigger name than David Ayer, and we're very lucky to get him in the door. And all in all, I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes. Much like Moon Knight, I'm just really loving DC at the moment, where they are going in terms of handling movies and whatnot and characters. I think they're hitting it out the park 9 times out of 10. And I'm excited for 2022 or whenever it is it's coming out. But guys, look, I'll quickly get into a beer just now. Incidentally, Innocent Gun. Highly recommend it, a good Glaswegian brewery. And on that note, I will move on to CBR.com's nice little, how shall I put it, clickbaity title. It's all about Terry Gilliam, of course, the man who wrote and gave us many great Monty Python movies and a wide array of other things. He's come out and says, and they are saying that he absolutely loathes Black Panther. It's utter bullshit, he says. Now I say it's clickbait because when you actually read in to his reasoning behind what he's saying and not just take it from mere quotes and headlines, I think you understand that he's maybe more deconstructing superhero movies, much like we got with Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola and a few other people. He's more deconstructing that and saying, look, it's not this big important movie in terms of just the actual movie itself, not what it meant to the black community, being a zeitgeist movie for them, just seeing themselves being represented on the screen. He feels like in terms of the actual story, it's not the be all and end all. He doesn't feel it's that great. I don't think he thinks, or he absolutely loathes it. I mean, he does say it's utter bullshit, but he's suggesting more about people saying that it gives young black kids something to believe in. He says that's bullshit, utter bullshit. I think the people who made it have never been to Africa. They went and got some stylists for some African pattern fabrics and things, but I hated that movie, partly because the media were going on about the importance of bullshit. Well, I think he's maybe dabbling in identity politics and perhaps, I don't know. I'm not even getting into it. I actually enjoyed Black Panther. So I'm going to completely disagree with Terry on this one. He says he's get frustrated with the world we're living in, that things tend to prod people to make them think or make them laugh. I always get myself in trouble. Well, so do I, Terry, but not in this instance. I thought Black Panther, as I did say, was a zeitgeist movie for the black community. I thought it was a really well crafted movie as a whole. There was different things done in that movie that from perhaps other MCU movies in terms of storytelling, in terms of a really well crafted antagonistic arc. Obviously, Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger character was left aside by T'Challa, T'Chaka, I should say, and was it his brother? I want to say it was his T'Challa's uncle that left Killmonger over in Atlanta, not knowing about his true heritage in Wakanda and whatnot. That was a really intriguing story plot, and just this sense of entitlement, him coming back and try to share the resources of this immensely wealthy and immensely gifted technological state, Wakanda, that is, with the rest of the world. He was completely against them withholding all of the power and technology, if you like, when there was other black communities in the world, the outside world, struggling to get by. So that was a really well crafted story. I thought Ryan Coogler done a magnificent job with it. And there was just elements in there which were really cool in terms of music, and as he does allude to African fabrics, I thought it was a real homage to African society in terms of what they did with modern and older architecture in Wakanda, and just the set design, the costume design, the musical design, the way that it all worked. I thought it was wonderful. I really enjoyed it. I liked the in-between world, I think there's a name for it, when T'Challa goes out and speaks to his father. It was like purplish, and it was a wonderfully crafted sequence within the movie. So I disagree with Terry. I don't think the movie's utter bullshit, although he doesn't actually say that. I don't think this movie was trying to prod people into feeling or thinking a certain way. I just feel like they were trying to represent the African American and greater black community on the screen with a really cool character in Black Panther and an equally cool, ambiguous, not black and white, nice grey villain where you could understand his rationale and his reasoning behind what he was doing. All in all, I completely disagree with him, but I can understand what he means in a general sense. the greater world, trying to prod people into feeling a certain way, perhaps becoming too PC, if you like, and not adhering to the director's creative vision sometimes. I've seen that numerous times. They go on to say in the comment section, someone further expands out the article and says that he was indeed having a pop at the MCU movies as a whole, just really embittered by the fact that they are perhaps dominating the box office, dominating screenings, and not giving medium to lower sized movies a chance to breathe at the theatres. And again, I disagree with that. We spoke about that heavily when Martin Scorsese was doing his little bitching session. The same amount of movies are showing in cinemas and theatres as was out in perhaps 30-40 years ago in the 1980s, with an equally diverse pool of genres and size of movies being given the opportunity to be seen by as many eyeballs as possible. So I disagree with him on both accounts. And I'm going to move on that note. I have completely ran out of time, incidentally. I was supposed to do 2 or 3 more topics, but I've gathered away nonsensically. Perhaps it's the innocent Gunn that's doing it to me. To the final topic, guys. And this is about Wonder Woman 1984 and its theatrical cut already being finished 6 months ahead of schedule. Now, I have about 4 minutes left to speak about this, so I'll do it very, very concisely if I can. Essentially, it was Patty Jenkins herself. She was at a Brazilian Comic-Con experience, and she revealed that she it's essentially finished the movie a whole 6 months ahead of schedule. I was trying to find a quote there, but there's not one available. She did say that, look, it's not done by any means. It gives me the opportunity to go in and let her fiddle about with it, essentially, and just make sure that the movie is technically, on a technical level, the way she wants it to be, but on an actual cinematic level, the theatrical cut is done. So what do I make of this? Well, I'm not surprised, because from that first trailer you can see that she has had a clear vision for this movie, a clear vision for the characters, and it has really been realised wonderfully on the screen. I am probably more excited for this than the Batman, which is just crazy, because he's one of my favourite all-time superhero characters. Really excited for this movie in terms of the setting, in terms of the colour palette, in terms of Pedro Pascal being villain, in terms of Chris Pine coming back as Steve again, that great chemistry he had with Gal Gadot, just seeing it rekindled. Seeing a whole array of new talents from Wonder Woman. We've seen her swinging from lightning in that trailer. We've seen her doing a wide array of things. So many suit changes as well. It just looks like a colourful, fun experience, this movie. Patty Jenkins is a wonderful director too. She knows what she's doing. She really gets this character. I hope she's not done with it. I hope we get more and more instalments from her. And I hope Gal Gadot keeps coming back for more. Perhaps Pine as well, if he doesn't get killed again and we get a great-great-grandson or something popping up who looks the exact same. But yeah, I'm not surprised she is completely done. She is a really talented director. I seem to recall her speaking, 3, 4, 5 months back, complaining that this movie's release date was put back. And perhaps she has been vindicated here because she has finished it very early. Maybe it could have met that original release date. But it wasn't to be. She has got more time to think it about if it maybe make some changes if she feels it's necessary. But as I did say, I don't see that being the case with Patty. She really does have a clear vision for this character. She, I think, said she had a clear trilogy mapped out in her head where the character was going already. So I think she's went in and executed it beautifully. And once again, we have spoke about Star Wars time and again, but I feel I have to draw comparisons with what Disney Lucasfilm have done with the sequel trilogy in Star Wars. If you don't have a clear overarching story in place, if you don't have a clear vision, then this is what can happen. What we've seen in the sequel trilogy, discombobulated all over the place and having to rush at the final movie to try and clean up plot holes and give arcs a fulfilling end. And likewise, you also see what happens in this case when you have a single director in charge of all creative process with a clear vision in mind for the character, a clear vision in mind for overarching stories, tonally, where she wants to go, really gets the mythology, really gets the canon, really gets the characters themselves. They pop off the screen, they have great chemistry, and yeah, I'm just excited to see the movie. This is a recurring theme throughout today's MBE Heroes. I am really excited to see the movie. Perhaps it again is the innocent Gunn. But look, all in all, cannot wait. Nice to see Patty has really got her shit together and got this movie created ahead of schedule. And perhaps this will again give us a really good experience, essentially, after going to watch the original Wonder Woman a few years back. I really enjoyed it. One of my favourite DCEU movies. And we have seen clues that this could perhaps be going off in its own standalone sort of a story in that trailer where it's slightly disconnecting. But look, guys, I've not got much more to add to it. I am done today. I'm done completely. Surviving on 5 hours sleep. I've been drinking. It's never a good combination. But look, just to let you know, we will not be doing a show on Wednesday. We will not be doing a show on Thursday either. We will probably be back for the Force Friday show, perhaps with a spoiler review for The Rise of Skywalker. So, as I bid you farewell, I will also bid you a very Merry Christmas. Hopefully you enjoy it with your friends, family, whoever you're sharing it with. And I shall see you again on Friday for the Force Friday show.